Okay, good evening, guys. So, how's everybody? I hope all of you are doing well. Just give me a minute as I set up my device. Okay, the device is all set up now. Okay, let's see. We are 109 people now. I'm assuming that the 100 or more people will be joining us soon. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Just give me one more minute, and then we will start the class. Okay. We are all set up now. Okay, so I think we are ready to go now. Okay, let's see. Who all has wished me? Vaishnavi, Chetan, Pritish, Bhumika, Dhanush, Sakshi, Ayush, Kirti, Vijay Lakshmi, Hari Prakash, Sindhu, Sushma. Okay, Raksh. Did I say good evening? Okay, I haven't been here because most of my classes happen in the evening. So that's why I might have said good evening. Okay, sorry about that. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Khushi, Priya, Ishwar, Advait, Kirti, Sanjana, Shreya, Samantha, Suraj, Pushpa, Kirtan, Ashwin, Ankita, Shashwat, Sneha, Soumya, Akhilesh, Harish. Okay, बहुत सारे लोग हैं. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. Sorry, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Okay. Okay, so I hope all of you are doing well. Okay. Okay. So, is there anything else that you guys would like to share? Otherwise, I'll start with the class. Okay, so somebody is telling me that today is Pooja's birthday. Pooja M. So, Pooja M, happy birthday. I wish you nothing but the best for the next upcoming year. Okay, okay. Okay, Kirtan prepared for my test, sir. That's very good. Okay, anything else that you guys would like to share? Otherwise, I'm more than willing to start the class. So, today is your last lecture of even Manpreet's birthday is there. Okay, happy birthday, Manpreet. I wish you all the happiness in the world for your upcoming year. Okay, good morning, Anusha. Okay, so start kare fir beta, shall we start? So today is your 8th and the final lecture for human reproduction. Okay, yes, beta, tomorrow you do have class, right? And I have uploaded notes till lecture 7. Kal tak ke notes मैंने upload कर दिए हैं. Okay, so your notes are in. Okay, so some people are confused. Okay, you will find your notes in the folder of TLP. Okay, you will find your notes in the folder of TLP. That is where you will find your notes. Okay, you will not find your notes in the notes folder. TLP means teacher lesson plan, right? So when I come to a class, I have a plan, right? So that is what TLP means, teacher's lesson plan. So this is my plan. What am I going to teach today? Okay, so you will find all your notes in the TLP folder. They have been slightly changed. Ghabrao mat beta, all the notes are there. I have uploaded notes till yesterday's class. Only today's class notes are not there, which obviously will be uploaded by tonight most probably. Okay. One more thing. Okay, so how many of you attend the class on your desktop? Click on yes. How many of you attend the class on your laptop or PC? Just click on yes. Okay, just click on yes if you attend the class on your desktop or your laptop, right? Okay. Okay, so tomorrow what we're going to do, tomorrow we are going to have a small competition, I would say. Okay, we are going to have a small game competition. Okay, and for that, those of you who attend the class on your phone, I want you guys to download an app which is known as Kahoot. I don't know whether other people have mentioned this or not, other teachers have mentioned this or not. So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to download this app. Okay, Kahoot. It's there on the Play Store. You can download it from there. Okay, not you can download it right now, but we'll be using it tomorrow. Okay, and I want you guys to download this app. And those of you who are on your PC, you have to go to the website kahoot.it. Okay, so Pritesh, it's not a scam, beta. It's not a scam. Okay, do not worry. Okay, So those of you who have the cell phone, those of you who attend the class on the cell phone, you can download this app. Those of you who attend the class on your desktop, you can go to the website kahoot.it. Abhi nahi jana, kuch milega nahi, right? Tomorrow when we'll have that small competition or game, then we will use it. Okay, this is something that I do with my 8th, 9th and 10th standard kids, and they absolutely love it, and I think you guys will also love it. Okay. Okay, more details will be told tomorrow. Just make sure that by the time you attend tomorrow's class, you have downloaded this app Kahoot. Okay. Okay. Ashwin, yes, class timing, everything will be same. Within class timing, मैं करूँगा. चिंता मत करो. Within class timing, I will. Within class timing, I will make you guys play this. Okay. So that is something I wanted to share. Okay. I thought that since anyway I will probably take 3 to 4 more classes. So I thought that maybe let's have some fun before my portion of the is completed. Yeah. No, Pritesh, there will be class tomorrow, beta. There will be class tomorrow. The competition will take 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. There will be class tomorrow. I will be starting the next chapter. Okay. Just download the app or kuch mat karo. Do not sign up. Do not log in. Nothing else. Kuch nahi karna. Bas just download the app. Keep the app on your phone. That's it. Okay. Nothing or kuch nahi karna. Sign up, log in. Kuch nahi karna, beta. Not required. Just download the app. Khatam. Okay. So yeah, download it. Tomorrow we'll have dedicate 10 to 15 minutes to this, and then I'll start the next lecture. Then I'll start the next chapter. Okay. What about us? Matlab kya? What do you mean by that? Okay. So yeah, I thought that since I have only 3 to 4 lectures, okay, left. So I thought let's have some fun before my portion ends. We can open the website. Yeah, you can open the website during class. Yeah, you can open the website during class. Obviously, I will give you time. Okay. Kirtan, you have to go to kahoot.it. Kahoot.it. Okay, tomorrow, not today. Chalo. Start kare fir. Let's start. Shall we start the class? Chalo. Let's do a quick recap of what we did yesterday. So today we start. Yesterday's class we started with how the sex of the baby is determined, right? How the sex of the baby is determined, and after that we talked about your. Process of division, right? We talked about your morula formation. Right, we talked about your formation of a blastocyst. We talked about different components of a blastocyst. Okay. So Ashwarya, after this I'll be taking chapter number 4, beta, reproductive health. Okay, and then in blastocyst, okay, then after that I talked about your implantation. How exactly does implantation takes place? Then we talked about lastly your gastrulation. We talked about your gastrulation. In gastrulation we talked about your epiblast and hypoblast and how they give rise to your ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm, right? Okay, so that is what we did. Anushri, the spelling is K-A-H-O-O-T, Kahoot. Okay, 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 so we are clear on that. Okay, so let's have a couple of revision questions and then we'll start with the class. Let's have a couple of revision questions. Okay, the first question is on your screen. Finger-like projection called chorionic villi appear on the dash after the implantation. That is the first question. Your options are live on your there are 4 options given in front of you. Just read the questions carefully and then we will have the poll. Then we'll have the poll. Okay. Okay. So let's have a quick poll then. In the meantime, I'll just check whether certain students are attending the class or not. Okay. Okay. The poll is now live on your screen. Get your votes in, beta. Anil, I know, I saw you. Do not worry. Okay. Okay. Yeah, got it. Okay, so the options are in your screen. Finger-like projection called chorionic villi. Okay, appear on the dash after the implantation. On which surface do you see finger-like projection after implantation? Okay, 10 seconds and I'll close the poll. 55% of you have voted. 10 seconds and I'll close the poll. Okay, 5 seconds, then I'll close the poll, beta. Make sure that you get your votes in. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and I'll stop. Let's see what you guys think is the correct option. So 69% of you voted. Okay, that's a disappointing number. So those of you voted, 35% of you think B is correct, and 28% of you think D is correct. 21% of you think C is correct. I don't know why there is so much confusion. Obviously, the chorionic villi will be on the outermost layer, and the outermost layer of your blastocyst was trophoblast, right? Your trophoblast was the outer layer of cells, and on the outside of it, you will see formation of your villi, right? So the correct answer is what? The correct answer is your trophoblast. The correct answer is your trophoblast. Okay? Okay. Chalo. Kal bhi main bataya tha ye. Anyway, it's okay. Let's move to the next question. Study the given statement and answer the question. Study the given statement and answer the question. During P phase of the menstrual cycle, if pregnancy doesn't happen, the Q withers and die, usually around day 22 in a 28-day cycle. The drop in R levels causes the lining of the uterus to fall away. This is known as S. Identify P, Q, R and S. Identify P, Q, R and S. That is what the question is. Identify P, Q, R and S. Okay? Read the question carefully. Okay, if you remember the lecture, if you have gone through the lecture notes, then you should be able to answer this. Even if you have gone through the textbook, even then you should be answering this. Okay, and these kind of questions are very common in NEET, okay, which would require you to combine information from different phases, okay, or information from different sources into one question, and then you are supposed to answer. Okay, I'll read the question again, then I'll throw up the poll. The P phase of the menstrual cycle, if pregnancy doesn't happen, the Q withers and dies, usually around day 22 in a 28-day cycle. The drop in R levels causes the lining of the uterus to fall away. This is known as S. This is known as S. Chalo, let's have a quick poll then. And the poll is now live on your screen. And the poll is now live on your screen, beta. Okay, let's see what you guys think is the correct option. Okay, ठीक है, जल्दी से वोट कर दो बेटा. 34% of you have voted so far. That means more than 60% of you have not yet voted. Okay, 45% have voted now. That means over 100 people have not yet voted. Okay, 10 seconds and I'll close the poll. 52% of you have voted. 10 seconds and I'll close the poll. Okay, 3, 2, okay, 5 seconds. 5 seconds and I'll close the poll, beta. 5 seconds and I'll close the poll. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and I'll stop. So let's stop the poll and let's see what is the correct answer. Okay, so again in this one also 69% of you voted. 69% of you voted, and those of you who voted, out of those people, 43% think that B is the correct option. Let's see, beta. So how to do this question? So if you look at here, we are talking about day 22, and I know that when day 22 has hit, okay, if day 22 is there, that means what? If day 22 is there, that means I have already entered my secretory phase or my luteal phase. That means, okay, that means what? This is your, okay, so that means what? Which phase? During P phase. So that means P is what? P is your luteal phase or secretory phase. Okay, so that means P is luteal, and if you look at it, okay, the correct option, there's only one option which has P as luteal, and that is your option B. And if you fill in there, it will automatically fill out. The luteal phase of the menstrual cycle, if pregnancy doesn't happen, what withers away? What withers away? Corpus luteum withers away, right? Corpus luteum withers away, because the function of corpus luteum is to produce progesterone, which is your R, is to produce progesterone, right? So since your corpus luteum has degraded, the level of the progesterone will fall. Why? Because progesterone is needed for maintenance of the endometrial layer. But if pregnancy is not going to happen, then the endometrial layer is no longer needed. So corpus luteum will degrade and progesterone level will fall, and this is known as S. S is what? S is your menstruation, and this is known as your menstruation. Okay, so that is how you're supposed to fill P, Q, R, S, S. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't know, Pratisha, I just select randomly. Okay, so what are we going to study today? So yesterday we talked about your pill gastrulation, right? That is your formation of your 3 germ list. Today we'll be talking about extra embryonic layer, जिसके बारे में मैंने कल बात किया था. That is what we'll be starting our class with. Your chorion, amnion, yolk sac, right? Alontis. That is what we'll be talking about today. After that, what we'll be doing is, after that we'll be talking about organogenesis. How, or like how to nahi, at what stages what organs are formed. Okay, that is what we'll be talking about. Then we'll be talking about parturition, the act of giving birth to a baby. And finally, we'll talk about your lactation, that is the production of the milk by the mother once the baby is delivered. So those are the topics that we'll be covering today. Okay, start kare fir? Chalo. Let's start the class then. Let's start with your extra embryonic layer. Okay, so extra embryonic membranes or extra embryonic layer. Yes, Ashwin, today the chapter will get over. Agar Bhagwan ki dua rahi to. Okay, chalo. So extra embryonic membranes. Okay, so what are extra embryonic membranes? So there are four membranes. There are four membranes which are present outside your growing embryo, That is why they are called extra embryonic membrane. Okay, so the growing embryo or fetus develops four membranes, and these four membranes are called the extra embryonic or extra fetal membranes. Okay, and there are, these four membranes are chorion, amnion, allantois, and yolk sac. In your textbook, they have mentioned the first two, but they have not mentioned the other two. But we'll be talking about the other two also, because questions in the NEET have been asked about these. Okay, so what are extra embryonic membranes? Membranes that develop around the embryo when the embryo is developing. Okay, and there are four extra embryonic membrane: chorion, amnion, allantois, and yolk sac. Okay, all of them perform different functions. What are their functions? Abhi I'm seeking it, because yesterday a lot of you had doubts. So what is the function of chorion? What is the function of amnion? Today your questions will get answered. Okay, I hope nothing is complicated here. This is clear to everybody. Okay, so now let's start with your chorion and amnion. Okay, so the figure is given. Okay, so on the left hand side you have a chick embryo. On the right hand side you have a human embryo, so that you can see the difference. Okay, although the difference will never be asked, but you can see the difference, right? Development of an embryo in a chick and development of an embryo in a human. But you need to focus on development of embryo in the human. Chick is just there for comparison, so that you can differentiate. Okay, take it. Angel, previous slide beta, I will upload it so that you can see it again beta. If you have doubt, let me know. Sure. So let's talk about chorion first. Okay, what is chorion? So chorion completely surrounds the embryo. As you can see here, this is your chorion. The pink layer that you see, that is your chorion, and it completely surrounds the embryo. And what is its function? It protects the embryo. Its another function is, it also takes part in formation of placenta. So chorion has two functions. Okay, its two functions are protection of the embryo. And the second function is takes part in placenta formation. Okay, takes part in placenta formation. Okay, that is what your function of chorion is. Chorion is the pinkish layer that you see that surrounds both the chick embryo as well as the human embryo. Okay, okay. So Ashwin is asking, where do chorion come from? So okay, so Ashwin, for that, so when I was telling you guys about your epiblast and hypoblast, okay, so actually there is something known as somatomesoderm which forms. Okay, and somatomesoderm gives rise to these layers, but that is again beyond the scope of your syllabus. That is why I'm not getting into where these layers are coming from. Okay, if you are interested into it, I can tell you some books to read upon, which I read when I studied embryology in my master's and bachelor's, but that is beyond the scope of the syllabus. Okay, no, Ashwin, I cannot tell beta, because it will never be asked in the exam. Plus a lot of you will not understand, because then you would need to know, where does somatomesoderm comes from? How is it different from the mesoderm of the embryo? Then I have to establish all that, right? It sounds cool, but it would require a lot of background, because then you'll like, sir, what is somatomesoderm? Sir, how is it different from the normal mesoderm, right? And how does that give rise to your chorion? So I cannot get into that unless I am ready to spend 1 hour onto it. Okay, so that is why I'm not getting into it. Okay, okay. Pushpa, I'll come to it. Do not worry. Okay, so what happens is, chorion completely surrounds the embryo, and its function is to protect the embryo and also take part in formation of placenta. Okay, that is the function of chorion. Next is your amnion. Which is this blue color that you see that has surrounded the embryo. As you can see, it is much smaller. As you can see, it is much smaller in chick compared to a human. In human, amnion is very prominent. Okay, and amnion surrounds the amniotic cavity. So this region is your amniotic cavity. This region is your amniotic cavity. So amnion is the membrane, and the space included between that is known as your amniotic. Is known as your amniotic cavity. That is known as your amniotic cavity. Okay. So this space is your amniotic cavity. The space enclosed by your amnion is known as amniotic cavity. And I will, okay, so there is one more thing about amnion that you guys should know, which I'll be covering in next chapter also. Okay, so which is filled with a clear watery fluid, which is filled with a clear watery fluid. So your amniotic cavity contains a clear watery fluid. Okay, and what is the function of amnion? Amniotic fluid prevents desiccation. Okay, now obviously you guys might need to know what is the meaning of desiccation. So desiccation is when something dries up and as a result of that it cracks. Okay, so when something dries and as a result of that cracks, that is known as desiccation. Okay, so it makes sure that the embryo never dries up. It makes sure that the embryo never dries up, and as a result of that it doesn't die out. Okay, so that is what desiccation is. Okay, so the amniotic fluid makes sure that the embryo doesn't die out. That is what it means. It prevents desiccation of the embryo, and it acts as a protective cushion that absorbs shocks. And it acts as a protective cushion that absorbs shock. So what is the function of the amniotic fluid? What is the function of the amniotic fluid? So amniotic fluid serves two important functions. Okay, prevents drying of the embryo. Prevents drying of embryo. Prevents drying of embryo. Okay, and what does it do? Okay, if embryo dies out, kya hoga beta? Obviously embryo mat jayega. Okay, and it acts as a shock absorber. It acts as a shock absorber. Now somebody has asked, sir, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? If mother, let's say, accidentally slips, so the damage to the embryo should be minimum. That is what we mean by shock absorber, right? If there is sudden movement, the embryo should not feel it. Okay, so is the function of amnion and chorion clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no, beta. Is this function of amnion and chorion clear to everybody? Sabko samjha? Nothing complicated here. I hope this is clear to everybody. Okay, so the function of chorion is it protects the embryo and it also takes place in placenta formation. Okay, and what is the function of amnion? Amnion surrounds a cavity known as amniotic cavity, which contains amniotic fluid. Amniotic cavity contains amniotic fluid, and amniotic fluid prevents drying of the embryo and it helps in shock absorber. Now Pritesh is obviously asking till what extent it can absorb shock. I do not know here. Okay, I do not know till what extent it can absorb shock, but I'm pretty sure if the fall is too hard, then you know even amnion cannot do anything. Okay, I'll move forward then. No other doubts. Sure. So we are done with that two extra embryonic membranes. Now let's talk about the other two. Okay. Next is allantois. Okay. Now in humans, as you can see, so allantois is this green one. Allantois is this green one. Okay. Sakshi, miscarriages whenever the embryo dies out before the birth. That is known as miscarriage. Okay. It could be because of multiple reasons. Okay. 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 Because Rohit, so the embryo requires a particular temperature to grow in the human body. So since we are viviparous organisms, the mother body provides a temperature. But since eggs, if they are left out in the environment, then they would not get the sufficient temperature. That is why the hen has to sit on it. Okay. Anyway, so in humans, the allantois is small and non-functional, except for furnishing blood vessels to the placenta. What does that mean? So allantois helps in bringing blood vessels to the placenta. Okay, that is the function of, that is the only function of allantois. And as you can see, allantois is much more prominent in your chick embryo. But in human embryo, except for the fact that it provides blood vessels to the placenta, the allantois has no other function. That is why it is small and non-functional. So the only function of allantois is providing blood vessels, providing blood vessels to the placenta. That is the only function of allantois. That is the only function of allantois. Other than that, it does not play any function, and it is non-functional. Okay, and it is small and reduced. Okay. The last one is yolk sac. The last one is yolk sac. Okay. So the yolk sac is non-functional in human beings. Okay. Again, as you can see, yolk sac is much more prominent in chick embryo. And other than it has only one function, जो मैं कल भी बोला था. What was its function? Its only function is it acts as a site of early blood cell formation. It acts as a site of early blood cell formation. Okay, and in chick it is much more prominent because unlike us, the chick embryo is not connected to the mother's body. So all its nourishment is derived from the yolk. But since in our case, we have a placenta which connects us to the mother's body, Okay, so in our case, it is non-functional because we get all our nourishment from the mother. Okay, so yolk sac is only functional till you develop your sites for RBC production. Now, where does RBC production take place in human beings? You guys must remember this from your transportation in human beings chapter, right? That is your blood circulation and all that. Where does formation of the RBCs takes place, right? So people are mentioning bone marrow, then yeah, so bone marrow is correct, right? So until there is development of bone marrow in the embryo, till then yolk sac is responsible for your RBC formation. But once other organs like spleen and bone marrow come around, then RBC formation is taken up by those organs. Okay? Okay. So what is the only function of yolk sac? Yolk sac's only function is early production of RBCs. But in chick embryo, it is much more prominent because that is where it gets its nourishment from. Since we yes, Rohit, you are correct. Okay, yes, Rohit, you are correct. Yolk sac is the yellow part of the egg that we all love to eat. Okay, and placenta joins from where to where? Placenta connects the embryo to the mother. Right? Prajwal, function of allantois. Beta, function of allantois ka ek hi function hai to provide blood vessels to the placenta. Right? So this is your placenta. Right? This is your placenta. So it provides blood vessel to the placenta. That is what the function of the allantois is. Okay. Okay. No, Pritish, chick is not important for NEET or AIMS, beta. वो मैं बस comparison के लिए दिया, right? ठीक है. Yes, beta. Meghna, blood cells means RBCs. Okay. ठीक है. Okay. So what is a watery liquid in the egg? What do you mean by watery? So that is beta. That is albumin. That is your albumin. Okay. So you have your albumin and the yolk. Right? Okay. Okay. So shall I move forward? Okay. Just give me a yes or no. Is allantois and yolk sac cleared, everybody? Is allantois and yolk sac cleared, everybody? Do not focus on the chick one, beta. That was just for comparison. That is not there for your syllabus. Okay. Do not worry. Chick embryo is not part of your syllabus. Okay. No, Advait, that is not the function of placenta. Okay. Yes, Anushri, yolk sac is present, but it is highly reduced. As you can see, there's just a small canal. Okay. Meghna, they are formed, but they are formed later on. Okay. Tarun, not relevant to the topic on hand. I will ignore that down. Okay. Okay. Aage badhe. Shall I move forward then? Okay. So I hope the function of all the 4 extra embryonic layer is clear to everybody. Okay. So those are the function of your extra embryonic layer. Okay. Chalo, let's move forward now. Now let's talk about placenta. Now let's talk about your placenta. Okay. So we know that placenta. Okay, for placenta, you need your trophoblast cells, you need your chorion, right? Those take part in your placenta formation. So after implantation, finger-like projections appear on the trophoblast. And these are known as chorionic villi. Why? Because the outer extraembryonic membrane is known as chorion, which takes place in placenta formation. So we call these finger-like projections as chorionic villi. Okay, and these finger-like projections are surrounded by the uterine tissue, right? That is, these finger-like projections get surrounded by the tissue of the endometrial layer, and maternal blood, and the blood vessels of the mother and the walls of the tissue completely surround this finger-like projection. Completely surround this finger-like projection. Okay? And how exactly are they formed? Okay, so next sentence here thoda sa complicated hai, but I have picked it up right from your textbook. Okay, so it's very important to understand this. So what are they saying? The chorionic villi and the uterine tissue become interdigitated with each other. Okay, what does that mean? So that means, let's say this is your finger-like projection known as your chorionic villi. Okay, and this is your uterine tissue. So they get interdigitated. That means they get locked up like this. This is what interdigitated means. Okay, that your villi comes from this side, from the trophoblast. This is your uterine tissue, and they get locked up like this, interdigitated, right? Your fingers also called digits. So they got interdigitated with each other. They get interdigitated with each other. So now once they get interdigitated, then jointly they form a structural and functional unit between developing embryo, which is also known as fetus, and the maternal body, and this is known as placenta. And this is known as placenta. So what is placenta, beta? Simple sa equation hai. Placenta is nothing but chorionic villi, plus uterine tissue, When these two things combine together with their power, they form your placenta. So interdigitated matlab kya ho? Interdigitated means, okay, locking up like this. Your fingers get locked up like this. This is the meaning of interdigitated. Okay, so is this clear to everybody, beta, how placenta formation takes place? Is this clear to everybody? Okay, is this clear to? No. So again, one thing I want to make clear: placenta is not the same as umbilical cord. Placenta is not the same as umbilical cord. Okay, मैं diagram दिखाऊंगा. In the next slide, there's a diagram. Do not worry. Okay, placenta is not the same as umbilical cord. Okay, the cord that you see coming out of a baby, that is not placenta. Okay. Okay. So how is placenta formed? So first, let's say this is your trophoblast. So there will be finger-like projections on your trophoblast. Okay, and then these finger-like projections are known as chorionic villi. And then these chorionic villi will get interlocked with your uterine tissue, and this is known as interdigitated. Okay, and together now this structure is known as what? Your placenta, which is the functional and structural unit between the developing embryo and the maternal body. Sabko clear hua beta? Only 11 people have responded. Is this clear to everybody? Just give me a yes or no, beta. Is this clear to everybody? Just give me a quick yes or no. Is this clear to everybody? Okay, I'll move forward then. So that is what your placenta is. I hope, Angel, it is now clear to you. Okay. Okay. So now let's look at a figure. So I have a figure on the next slide. So as you can see, this is your placenta. This region that you see, that is your placenta. And this is your umbilical cord. The umbilical cord is that wire thing that you see coming out of placenta. So umbilical cord is not the same as your placenta. If you go back to the previous figure also, okay, here they go. This is your placenta. This region is your placenta. Okay, and this is your umbilical cord, as you can see. So placenta and umbilical cord are different. The umbilical cord connects the placenta to the embryo. Okay, so those are two different things, beta. Do not get confused. Okay, so do not never get confused. It's okay to get confused because एक point पे मुझे भी a doubt होता था when I was in 10th and 11th. But then once I reached your age, then my teacher cleared it up very well. That placenta is the combined forces of villi and your uterine tissue. Umbilical cord connects the placenta to the baby or the embryo, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Chalo, anyway, umbilical cord bhi aayega, right? So let's talk about placenta a bit more. Okay. The placenta is connected to the embryo through an umbilical cord. Right? Abhi bola tha main, so umbilical cord connects your placenta to the embryo. Okay? And what is its function? Which helps in the transport of substances to and from the embryo. So umbilical cord takes waste away from the embryo to the placenta and brings oxygen and nutrition from the placenta to the developing embryo. Okay, that is the meaning of first point. Now, placenta ka function kya hai? Placenta facilitate the supply of oxygen and nutrients. Pata hai tum logon ko, you guys studied in 10th standard also. Function of placenta is to give supply oxygen and nutrients to the embryo, and removal of carbon dioxide and excretory waste materials produced by the embryo, right? So what does placenta do? Placenta provides all the good things, oxygen, nutrition, and takes away all the bad things from the developing embryo like carbon dioxide and excretory waste material. Okay? That is one function of placenta. Another function of placenta is placenta also acts as an endocrine tissue. That is, it secretes hormones. What are the hormones that it secretes? It secretes human chorionic gonadotrophin. It secretes human placental lactogen. And it also secretes estrogen and progesterone. Okay? So these are some of the hormones secreted by your placenta. इनके functions क्या है? Next slide में घबराओ. I will cover this. Obviously, I will not leave you questioning. So what does HCG and HPL do? Right? So what is umbilical cord? Umbilical cord is a rod-like structure or a wire-like structure that connects the placenta to the embryo. Okay? You see that tissue that is cut by the doctors. That is your umbilical cord. That is your umbilical cord. And umbilical cord acts as a passageway between the embryo and the placenta. Okay? And what is the function of placenta? Placenta helps in supply of oxygen and nutrients to the embryo, and takes away carbon dioxide and excretory waste material produced by the embryo. It also produces hormones like HCG, HPL, progesterone, estrogen. Very important to remember. Okay, very important to remember that HCG and HPL are only formed, okay, are very important to remember, only seen during pregnancy. So if you have these hormones in your body, that means you are pregnant. And actually this is what the pregnancy kit works on. Okay, this is what the pregnancy kit works on, right? So you guys might have seen the ad, right? I got good news, right? Yeah, so where the woman takes a test. Okay, so this is the hormone that these are the hormones that the pregnancy kit checks for. So if HCG and HPL are present, yes, the urine test wala jo hota hai, right? Where okay, so okay, what happens is, okay, so these hormones are only produced during pregnancy. So I don't know how many of you have seen how that text works. Okay, Prega News, yes, all that. Malang movie, I don't know, I've not seen that Malang movie. Okay, so in that kit, okay, so that kit is something I'll be talking about in much more detail in the next chapter, reproductive health. So in that kit basically detects the presence of these hormones. If HCG or HPL is present, that means the woman is pregnant. Veerbhadra, I'm not sure, beta. Veerbhadra, I'm not sure. Okay, I cannot comment on that because I'm not sure about that. Okay, so it's very important to remember that HCG and HPL are only seen during pregnancy and no other time. Progesterone, estrogen, ठीक है, वो तुम्हारे normal menstrual cycle में भी आता है. Danush, I do not know. ठीक है? Okay, how does umbilical cord work, beta? Umbilical cord simple है, transportation, it helps in transportation. Okay, Naren, I'll come to that beta when I'll talk about parturition. Okay, Pranjal beta, relaxin पे आऊंगा मैं. I'll come to relaxin, do not worry. Pritish, but sex always does not lead to pregnancy. ठीक है? That is why we do not check for fructose. Sex ho gaya, but pregnancy may not happen, right? But if HCG or HPL is produced, that means the chance of you being pregnant is very, very high. Okay, okay. Is this slide clear to everybody? Better give me a yes or no. Is this slide clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no. No, Shreya. The answer to your question is no. Okay. Shall I move forward now? Sure. Let's move forward. Okay. So now let's talk about placenta a bit more. Okay. And what is the function of HCG and HPL? So HCG stimulates and maintains the corpus luteum. So why does the corpus luteum degrade? Because there is no HCG, to maintain it. That is why the corpus luteum degrades. Right? So what is the function of HCG? HCG stimulates and maintains the corpus luteum so that it keeps on secreting progesterone. And we know that why do we need progesterone? For maintenance of the inner lining of the uterus. So HCG stimulates and maintains the corpus luteum to secrete progesterone till the end of pregnancy. because till the end of pregnancy you need those thick uterine walls, right? So HCG क्या करता है? HCG acts on corpus luteum. कि corpus luteum, I need you. I need your progesterone for the maintenance of the endometrial layer because pregnancy has happened. And then the corpus luteum stays there and it keeps on producing progesterone and your endometrial layer is maintained. If pregnancy does not happen, that means placenta form nahi hua. If placenta has not formed, that means HCG will not be produced. Agar HCG produced nahi hua, to corpus luteum degrades. That is why the corpus luteum degrades around the 22nd or the 23rd day. Okay, done? Okay, that is a function of HCG. Now, what is a function of HPL? HPL stimulates the growth of the mammary glands during pregnancy. So we know that. So if the woman is pregnant, that means she will give rise to a baby. And if she gives rise to a baby, obviously she would need to feed her. So for that, development of the mammary gland is important. And that is the function of HPL. Okay, so HPL stimulates the growth of mammary glands during pregnancy. Okay, so now in the later stage of pregnancy, a hormone called relaxin is also secreted by the ovary. Okay, a hormone called relaxin is also secreted by the ovary. Okay, and what is the function of relaxin? So relaxin facilitates parturition. What is parturition? Act of birth. Abhi uske baare mein padhenge. How does this help in the process of giving birth? It helps in process of giving birth by softening the connective tissue of the pubic symphysis. So if you guys remember your pelvic girdle, right? So your pelvic girdle was joined in the middle. By a soft connective tissue known as pubic symphysis. Right? So what is the function of relaxin? Relaxin soften this up so that your pelvic girdle can expand a bit more, so that the baby can pass out easily. Right? So that is the function of your relaxin. Okay? So what is the function of HCG? HCG stimulates and maintains corpus luteum so that it keeps on secreting progesterone so that the endometrial layer is maintained. Function of HPL is maintenance, growth of mammary glands. Growth of mammary glands matlab it should now start producing milk. Okay, it should now start getting ready for production of milk. Okay, okay. Anushri, what is your doubt? Okay, obviously beta during embryo formation, do not get impatient, beta. Do not keep on sending question. I get a lot of doubts, man. I can only look at so many doubts, and while I'm explaining, it becomes difficult to look at the chat because then I get distracted. फिर मेरा flow चला जाता है. Give me some time. Once I'm done explaining, then I'll go through your chat. Okay, ठीक है. Anyway, so what is the function of HPL? Stimulates the growth of the mammary glands during pregnancy, and in the later stages, relaxin is produced. What is the function of relaxin? Relaxin softens up the pubic symphysis. Okay, so that the pelvic girdle can expand, a bit, and the baby can come out smoothly. What will happen if relaxin is not formed? Then I'm worried that the process of pulling the baby out will be very difficult. Okay, okay. Is the function of HCG, HPL, and relaxin clear to everybody? Give me a yes or no. Is the function of HCG, HPL, and relaxin clear to everybody? Sabko samjha? Okay, Naren, that does not happen. Beta. Okay, obviously then there are some alternative ways which we can get into, but that rarely, if ever, happens. Pritish, yes. Beta, the size of the breast usually does not increase. Is what we mean by their growth of the mammary gland is that the alveoli start getting activated. That is what we mean. Okay. Yes, Dhanush, cesarean can be done in that case. Okay. Clear to everybody? Function of HCG, HPL, and relaxin. Chalo, let's move forward then. Okay, now let's talk about your organogenesis. This table is very important to remember. याद रखना है at what time interval what organ is formed. धड़ाधड़ question आता है, direct question उठ के आता है. After what time of fertilization do you see heart and blood vessel formation? So you need to remember this table as it is. Okay, except for a couple of rows, everything else is given in the textbook. For example, development of brain is not given in the textbook. मैंने add कर दिया because I thought that it is important to know when does the most important, I shouldn't say most important, but one of the most important organs of your body develops. Okay, so after 1 month or 4 weeks, there is development of heart, blood vessels, blood, and gut. Okay, development of these organs start, and at this time you can start, okay, and at this time you can start hearing the heartbeat of the embryo. You can start hearing the heartbeat of the embryo, because then the heart, blood vessels, blood and gut start forming. What do I mean by gut? By gut I mean the digestive system also starts forming. Then at the 5-week mark, the development of the brain starts happening. At the 5-week mark, the development of the brain starts happening. Okay. Yes, Chandrakala. Then at the 2 months mark, that is roughly 8 to 9 weeks, limbs and digits start developing. Limbs ka matlab kya? Your arms and legs. Digits matlab kya? Your fingers and toes. Right? So at the 8 to 9 week mark, that is the 2 months mark, what happens is, okay, yes, 5 weeks from fertilization, beta. All this is from the time of fertilization. Okay. So at the 2 months mark, you start seeing development of the limbs and digit. Then you have 12 weeks. 12 weeks is 3 months, which is also known as trimester. Okay, because you're dividing 9 months into three groups, so they are known as trimester. Okay, so trimester ka matlab kya beta? Trimester means 3 months. Trimester means what? 3 months. Okay, so at the end of 12 weeks or 3 months or first trimester, तीनों याद रखना है. What happens? Most of the organ systems are formed, and the limb and the external genital organs are also formed. And at this point, the sex of the baby can be determined. At this point, sex of the baby can be determined. And at this point, unfortunately, a lot of people go for female feticide, even though it is banned. Okay, because now you can see the genitals, right? So if you see a penis in the embryo, that means it's a boy. And then some of the people, they decide to keep it. And if they think that's a female, then they decide to abort it. Right? So that this is the phase. And so at the first trimester, you can tell whether it's a boy or a girl. And then unfortunately, some people decide for female feticide. Right? So if they ask you, right? At what stage the genitals of the embryo is seen? So the answer is 12 weeks or 3 months or first trimester. Okay? Done? Okay. Now, then 20 weeks or 5 months from fertilization, there is first movement of the fetus. There is first movement of the fetus and appearance of hair on the head, right? So the fetus starts moving around. So the mother starts feeling, right? The mother starts feeling the fetus moving around. Okay, right? And then the appearance, and then there is appearance of hair on the head. Yes, Ashwarya, that can also be done, but better that is much more expensive to do, right? Okay, so at the end of 5 months, the fetus starts moving and there is appearance of hair on the head. Thoda sar pe baal aane lag jata hai. And then at 24 weeks or 6 months or second trimester, the body is completely covered with hair. The eyelids separate. That is, now the eyes are open. Okay, the eyes are open and the eyelashes are formed. That is तुम्हारी पल के फंदा, right? The eyelashes are formed. The hair of your hair also formed, right? So you guys need to remember this table as it is. What happens at first month? Heart, blood vessels, blood and gut starts forming. At the 5-week mark, development of the brain. At the 2-month mark, limbs and digits start developing. At the 3-month mark, most of the organs are developed. External genital organs are also developed. At the 5-month mark or the 20 weeks mark, first movement of the fetus and appearance of hair on the head. And then at the end of your क्या कहते हैं 6 months or second trimester, body is completely covered with hair, eyelids separate and eyelashes are formed. Okay, and at this stage, okay, so usually this is the last stage for abortion. In most cases. After this, abortion is not done. So if there are any defects in the baby, it should be done before the 6-month period, before the done of 6 months. And usually after the 6-month period, if the baby is born, then the baby can survive in your NICU, I think neonatal intensive care unit. So after the 6-month period, if the baby is born, then the baby has a good enough chances to survive, right? If proper medical care is provided. But after the 7-month period, then even if you do not put in NICU, the baby will most probably survive because the lungs are fully developed, so it is capable of breathing. Okay? Yes, Sakshi, you are correct. Okay? So the abortion should be done. The legal limit of abortion for any reason is before 6 months, is before 6, because after that beta, after that the baby that you will get out, it would be alive. Before that, if you take it out, it would be dead. Plus the chances of harm to the mother is also more, right? So basically, if you're getting an abortion after 6 months, basically you are producing a live person, and you do not want that live person in your life. That is why abortion after 6 months is not allowed. And plus the danger to the mother is also very high, because the mother's body is not yet ready for giving rise to the like getting rid of the baby. Okay. Okay, Karthik, I do not know the answer to your question here. Okay, I do not know the answer to your question. Okay, okay, Kirtan, so 6 months tak legal hai beta, but for that also you need to provide reason. Why do you want to get rid of the baby? If there are some genetic defect in the baby, then it is completely okay to get abortion, right? So for example, if there is some mitochondrial disease in the baby, right, then you can get rid of the baby by that, and that is completely fine. Okay, then it is completely fine. Okay. Okay, so Anushri, disorder का मतलब क्या है? So the amniotic cavity, right? So in the amniotic cavity, the cells of the embryo, there are some cells of the embryo that are present. So what they do is that at the usually second or third month interval, they take some cells from the amniotic cavity through an injection, obviously, and then they observe those cells. And if any defect is found in the cells, then they tell you that they go, this might be a disorder in your baby. If they see that the mitochondria is, that there is some disorder in the mitochondria, so then there are mitochondrial diseases, right? Or there are some other genetic defects. So then tell you that, you know, if you give rise to this baby, your child will have this disease. Do you want to get aborted? So then they give you a choice. Okay? 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 Pritish, chances are less, but chances are there. Okay? Obviously, Dhanush, a doctor needs to have a license if they want to abort a kid. ऐसे randomly थोड़ा कर सकते हैं यार. Okay. Okay. So abortion का मतलब क्या है बेटा? Then they basically give you a pill. If it's before 3 months, they give you a pill, and the embryo comes out on its own. And the embryo comes out on its own. ठीक है ना? The embryo is dead. Obviously, it's not a baby yet. Okay. ठीक है? आगे बढ़े. Shall we move forward then? Okay. Tamanna, for medical reasons, if there's genetic defect, then it's completely okay. Okay, so Raksh is asking, what does baby ne kick mara mean? So what happens is 7th month onwards, the baby can actually respond to external stimuli also, right? So the baby can respond to external stimuli also, and in response to that stimuli, the baby produces some movements. And if the movement is against the stomach of the mother or the abdomen of the mother, then the mother feels a kick, and that is known as kick of the mother. Okay? Okay, chalo, aage badhe. Okay, I have no idea. I have no idea what questions you guys are asking here. Now I think your questions are getting out of hand, so unfortunately I have to stop taking your doubts. You have those doubts, you ask me after the class now. Okay? Okay. Okay. So now let's talk about your parturition. Abhi pregnancy ho gaya, implantation ho gaya, organs bhi ban gaye, right? हमने journey start किया था हमारे gametes development से, right? We all were teenagers where the gamete development took place. Then we had sex. I shouldn't say we had sex, but take it. The people involved in this chapter, they had sex, right? As a result of that, fertilization won. Then after fertilization, after fertilization, what happens is, after fertilization, the zygote gets implanted and it turns into an embryo. Implantation bhi ho gaya. Uske baad humne gastrulation bhi dekh liya. That is formation of your primary germ layers. And then after that, after primary germ layers, now abhi organs bhi ban gaye. And now the baby is ready. Okay? By the end of the 7th or the 8th month, the baby positions itself in such a way that its head is facing towards the vagina of the female. Okay? And now we are ready to take the baby out. Delivery ke liye, we all of us are ready. Okay? So the time from the conception to birth is known as gestation period. So pregnancy is like so. When the fertilization takes place from the day of fertilization till the baby is born, that is known as gestation period. That is known as what? Gestation period. So in humans, the gestation period is 9 months plus or minus 7 days. 9 months plus or minus 7 days. Obviously, it's not exact 9 months, beta. Kabhi 8 months ho jata hai, 8.5 ho jata hai, kabhi 9.5 ho jata hai. So that's completely fine. 9 months is an average time period. Okay? And what is the process of ejecting out the baby is known as parturition. Okay? So the act of expelling the full-term young one from the mother's uterus at the end of gestation period is called parturition. As the end of gestation period is called parturition, right? So the process of expelling out मतलब क्या निकालना, the process of expelling out the young one at the end of gestation period, that is at the end of 9th month, is known as parturition. Is known as what? That is known as parturition. That is known as parturition. Okay? Okay. So let's move forward then. Now, how exactly does parturition take place? How exactly does parturition take place? Okay? Okay. Okay. So now the signals for parturition originate from the fully developed fetus and the placenta. So when the baby is fully developed and it is ready to come out, okay, and it is ready to come out, then what happens is the signal comes from the fetus and the placenta, and they cause mild uterine contraction, and this is known as fetal ejection reflex. Okay, so when the baby is ready to come out, signals originate from the baby as well as the placenta, and this causes mild uterine contraction, and this is known as fetal ejection reflex. This is known as fetal ejection reflex. And what this does is, these mild contraction of the uterus, what they do is, this triggers release of oxytocin from the maternal pituitary, And what does oxytocin do? Oxytocin acts on the uterine muscle and causes stronger uterine contractions, which in turn stimulates further secretion of oxytocin. चलो इसको एक फ्लो चार्ट बना देते हैं, because I have figured out by now that all of you understand better with the flow chart. देखो first क्या होता है, when the baby is ready, okay, when the fetus is ready, okay, what will happen is signals will come from fetus and placenta. And what will this signal do? This signal will cause mild uterine contraction, that is mild contractions of the uterus, mild uterine contractions. And what does this mild uterine contraction do? They cause release of oxytocin. They cause release of oxytocin. From where? Obviously from the pituitary. And after that what happens is this release of oxytocin causes even more contraction. So it acts as a positive feedback cycle, and more contractions lead to more production of oxytocin, and this acts as a positive feedback cycle. पहले थोड़ा contraction हुआ, oxytocin release हुआ. Oxytocin causes more contraction हो रहा है, so more oxytocin, then more contraction, more oxytocin, and this positive feedback cycle keeps on happening. That is what we are talking about in this particular slide. How exactly does parturition take place? Okay, so is this process clear to everybody? Beta, give me a yes or no. Is this process clear to everybody? How exactly does parturition take place? अब तो मैंने flow chart ही बना दिया, so I think now this process should be clear to everybody. ठीक है? So fetus is ready, it sends signal. This is known as fetal ejection reflex. It causes mild uterine contraction. Sana, let's focus on the topic, beta. Let's not get ahead of us. Okay? It causes mild uterine contraction. Mild uterine contraction. Mild uterine contraction causes release of oxytocin. Oxytocin causes more uterine contraction. More uterine contraction causes more oxytocin. More oxytocin causes more uterine contraction. More uterine contraction causes more oxytocin. And this positive feedback cycle keeps on happening. So actually that is what the last point is mean. Okay? Clear to everybody? I'll move forward then. Okay, chalo. Abhi itna zyada contraction ho raha hai to hoga kya? Okay? So what happens is, okay, this stimulatory reflex between the uterine contraction and the oxytocin. So this, what they are saying, this positive feedback cycle between the uterine contraction and the oxytocin continues, resulting in stronger and stronger contraction. So contraction हुआ oxytocin है और strong is और oxytocin और strong contraction. So the contractions keep getting stronger and stronger. And as a result of this contraction, expulsion of the baby out of the uterus through the birth canal. And as a result of that, this contraction leads to ejection. This contraction leads to ejection of the baby through the birth canal. What was birth canal? Cervical canal plus vagina, right? So through that, the baby comes out. Okay. And after that, what happens is, soon after the infant is delivered, the placenta is also expelled out of the uterus. So this is your placenta. This is your placenta. This is your umbilical cord. Okay. So the placenta is also ejected out. The placenta is also ejected out. And now a baby has been born. Now all of us have produced a baby over the last 2 weeks. Okay. So this is how a baby is born. Okay. So the positive feedback cycle leads to more and more stronger contractions. Right? If for some reason the contractions are not strong enough, then the injection that the doctor gives, it contains what? What will it contain? What will the injection contain if the contractions are not strong enough? What will the injection contain that the doctor will give to the pregnant woman? It will contain what? It will contain what? Oxytocin. So next time if you see a movie in which, okay, so for example, 3 Idiots. In 3 Idiots, the contraction was slowing down. So if a doctor was there, she would or he would have injected that girl with oxytocin. That would have caused stronger contraction. Okay? And after that, once the baby is ejected, then the placenta as well as the umbilical cord, also comes out. Okay? So that is something you guys need to remember, that placenta does not stay, placenta bhi bahar aa jata hai, because the function of placenta is now done. So the uterus has to be cleaned out, right? Okay? Yes, we all get good news. Which hopefully all of you will get in 10 years or so. Okay? Mithai main khila dunga baad mein. Okay? Okay. I do not understand your question, Chetan. Okay? So in the meantime, I hope this is now clear to everybody. Nothing new here. Okay? Okay. Chalo. Now, अब baby तो produce हो गया, अभी बेचारे को खिलाना भी है, थोड़ा दूध भी पिलाना है, and that is known as lactation. Okay? No, Pranjal, it does not cause any pain to the baby. Okay? So, production of milk in the mammary glands is called lactation. Production of milk in the mammary glands is called what? Lactation. I do not know what is the story of Abhishek. Okay? So, production of milk in the mammary gland is called lactation. And when the female is pregnant, the mammary glands of the female undergo differentiation during pregnancy, right? That is, the alveoli start dividing rapidly. Okay? So the mammary glands undergo differentiation during pregnancy and start producing milk towards the end of the pregnancy. So when the pregnancy is about to end, the mammary glands start producing milk. Yes, Chandan, that is true. Okay? So what is lactation? Lactation is the production of milk in the mammary glands. And the mammary glands undergo differentiation during pregnancy, and by the end of the pregnancy, they start producing milk. They start producing what? They start producing milk. Now this milk is very important. Why is this important? Okay. Secretion and storage of milk generally begins after birth of a young one. Okay. Usually within 24 hours. So within 24 hours, secretion of the milk starts and the storage of the milk also starts. Under the influence of hormone prolactin. This is very important. Under the influence of hormone prolactin. So hormone prolactin is very important for your production and storage of milk. Okay? Which is secreted by anterior lobe of the pituitary. Okay, so when the baby is born, within 24 hours, the milk starts produced, the production and storage of the milk starts under the influence of a hormone from the anterior pituitary, which is known as prolactin. Dekho, there is difference. Production of milk is because of prolactin, but ejection of milk is stimulated by oxytocin. Okay, so do not get confused. People always get confused. Okay, so secretion of milk is because of prolactin, but ejection of milk from the nipple. Okay, ejection of nipple लिख दिया, ejection of milk. Okay, ejection of milk. Ejection of milk is because of oxytocin. Is because of oxytocin, which is secreted from the posterior lobe. So ये कहाँ से आया बेटा? This came from your anterior lobe and this came from your posterior lobe. ठीक है? Done? Okay. So now let's talk about milk a bit more. The milk produced in the initial few days is called colostrum. Is called colostrum. Okay, and it is slightly yellowish in color. It is slightly yellowish in color, which contains several antibodies IgA. Okay, so there are different types of antibodies: IgA, IgM, IgE. ये सब मैं तुम्हें पढ़ाऊंगा in the chapter of human health and disease, right? So in that chapter we'll talk about all these, right? So the milk produced during the initial few days is called colostrum, and this is rich in antibodies, particularly IgA antibody. अभी के लिए बस ये याद रखो IgA होता है. IgA होता क्या है? Why is it different from IgM or other antibodies? We'll talk about in that in some other chapter, not in this chapter. ठीक है? And this is absolutely essential to develop resistance for the newborn babies. So this initial milk of the mother, which is known as colostrum, okay, this is slightly yellowish in color and is rich in antibodies, particularly IgA antibody. And this antibody helps in development of resistance to diseases. Development of resistance to diseases, right? So that is why they say that माँ का पहला दूध बच्चे के लिए बहुत जरूरी होता है. And this is the exact reason. So a child should not be, or a baby should never be denied the first milk of the mother. Okay? Because it contains very important antibodies for the future of the baby. Otherwise, the baby might be susceptible to a lot of diseases. Okay? Okay, let's move forward then. Now, what are the constituents of milk? The milk contains fat, obviously, casein, which is your milk protein, lactose, which is your milk sugar, and mineral salts and vitamin. Milk is not a good source of iron. Milk is not a good source of iron. Okay? So what does your milk contain? Your milk contains fat, casein, which is a protein, lactose, which is your milk sugar, mineral salts and vitamin. So Dhanush is asking, what if the mother is dead? Obviously, I expected someone to ask you a question. What if the mother is dead after the birth of the child? So in that case, obviously, beta, then we make sure that the child receives antibodies from an external source. Obviously, we will take care of that. But best case is mother should be alive so that the child gets natural source of antibodies. Okay? Yes, Sana, for the most part, all mammals have roughly the same composition of milk. Okay? Does it taste like normal milk of cow? I don't know what the milk of mother tastes like. I don't remember what my mother's milk tasted like. Hey, how would I know? I don't know. Maybe you can Google it up. Okay? What does the milk of mother taste like? Okay? Okay? Can we give other milks mother's milk? Yes, you can give. Yes, you can give. So that is what sometimes they do, that if the mother of the baby dies during the process of pregnancy, during the process of giving birth, so obviously they sometimes ask another pregnant woman or another woman who has just given birth to, you know, to provide the child with the milk for the few days so that usko colostrum, he gets all the necessary antibodies. So yeah, that is completely okay. A child can have milk of somebody else's also. Okay? If two babies are born, is milk sufficient? Yes, beta, it is sufficient. Twins may be chal jata hai kam. Okay? Okay? Now, Asana, milk is always produced after giving birth. Now, a nursing woman secretes 1 to 2 liters of milk per day. A nursing woman secretes 1 to 2 liters of milk per day. Okay? Now, is this clear to everybody? After that, I'll come to the burning question, how twins are produced. Okay? After that, I'll come to a burning question, how twins are produced. Yes, I know, beta. I know. Okay? Okay, nursing women का मतलब क्या? Beta, women who are feeding their baby. Those are known as nursing women. Okay? Is this clear to everybody? Okay, so now, how are twins formed? Now, I don't know how many of you have seen twins. So, I have seen 4 pairs of twins in my life. Okay, so the first pair was when I was in 1st standard. I had twins as my classmates. Then one pair I saw when I was in like 6th standard, I think one of my neighbors had twins. And then then the other 2 I've seen after coming to Hubli, right? So one pair of twins I've taught in 10th standard, right? And then their flatmates, okay, no, not their flatmates, they're in the same apartment, they have another pair of, okay, they have another pair of twins. Okay, so in that apartment building there are actually 2 pairs of twins. Anyway, so how are twins formed? Okay, so the first thing is there are 2 types of twins, paternal twins and maternal twins. There are 2 types of twins, paternal twins and maternal twins. Okay, now paternal twins are, okay, paternal twins are where there are 2 eggs, and there are 2 sperms. So sometimes what happens is a female releases 2 eggs instead of 1. Both the ovaries release eggs. Okay, both the ovaries release eggs at the same time, and the sperms end up using both the ovaries, both the eggs. Okay, and then what happens is you will give rise to 2 babies. But these babies will not be similar to each other. They will not look identical to each other. That is why they are called paternal twins. Okay? Now, maternal twins are the identical ones, which is much more common. Paternal twins are rare. The pair of twins that I saw in my first standard, they were paternal twins. Okay, they did not look like each other, but they were twins. Okay, now what are maternal twins? So here there is only 1 egg and there is only 1 sperm. Okay, and then what happens is zygote ban jata hai. But after that, we know that the zygote starts undergoing division, right? Cleavage hota hai. What ends up happening is that after first cleavage, you end up with 2 separate cells. And now these are now 2 separate zygotes. After your first cleavage. And then these zygotes will give rise to baby. And since both of them came from the same sperm and the same egg, they are identical. So maternal twins are identical and paternal twins are non-identical. Okay? So if you see twins that are non-identical, that means their mother, what they do is their mother releases 2 eggs at the same time. दोनों ओवरी ने एक साथ एग छोड़ दिया, and then the sperms went and fused with both the eggs. ठीक है? In maternal twins, what happens is एक ही egg आता है, एक ही sperm आता है. ठीक है? What happens is the zygote forms, and then the zygote after first cleavage splits into 2 different cells, and then both those cells give rise to baby. In paternal twins, gender can be different because 2 different eggs and sperms are involved. So gender can be different. Do they resemble everything like thinking? No, Ashwin, obviously not, beta. They only look physically the same. Obviously, mentally and emotionally, they are different from each other. Okay? No, Karthik. No, it's no. At least not that I have heard of. So that is what twins are. That is what beta triplets mein vijata kya hota hai? So instead of getting 2 zygotes, you end up getting 3 zygotes. Okay? That is what happens in triplets vijata, right? Okay? So that is what happens. Okay? So on that note, I end today's class. Okay, and the chapter. Just give me a quick feedback, guys, and then you guys can run off. Okay, just give me a quick feedback, and then you guys can run off. Okay, so thank you very much for your patience. I really appreciate it. Okay, I hope that you guys liked today's class. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's class. Okay, and most importantly, I hope that you learned in today's class. Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll play that small game of ours. Tomorrow I also have a special presentation, and then we'll start with the next chapter. Okay? No, Tarun, tomorrow there is no problem solving session. Okay? Ashwin, I'll try my best to upload it. Okay? So take care, guys. Okay, take care, guys. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.